Signed, Conversations with Digital Mavericks. What do you think gives a creator leverage today in, negotiating when you're making deals for them?
I have found that my creators that have the strongest businesses are the ones that are not only let's just say creativity wise, they're consistent with their content. They have a healthy balance with it. They have a very specific niche, et cetera, et cetera. But then professionally, because there's tons of creators that are just they're not very professional. They are they don't really, they feel like deadlines are they're flexible, or, they feel like it's their world and everyone else is just living in it. I have found that my clients that work best are the ones that go out to drinks and make that in-person connection with any brands that they want to work with, making sure that they are networking, making sure that they're hitting things at specific deadlines, just being, I have found that the ones that are the best as creators are the ones that have had jobs before they were creators, because they really understand what it is to be in a corporate environment. And so I would say that's what I have found to be the common thread.
I would totally agree with that. And then I would add to it, and I would say the other thing that I feel like gives creators a leg up and they always have really strong businesses are the ones that are just straight up idea generators. Give me anything and everything. It gives me more to go to market to. It gives me more to sell. It gives me more to pivot. It gives me more when I'm reading something. I'm like, oh, well, she had this random idea. I'm going to throw it out there. If I'm in conversations with buyers at events or whatever, you just never know. So the ones who are constantly idea generating and then sharing that with us, it's almost better, don't keep it in your head, please get it out, because you just never know what's going to be around and how that can be monetized. So I think those are the ones that are really set apart and set up for real, enduring success.
Yeah, 100%. And I totally agree with you guys about having a job before. And it's kind of interesting because this is such a young business and a lot of these creators have not had a job before. And so it's not only did you have a job before, but I think there's also the question of, if you didn't have the job before, could you learn fast enough to be a professional like you had a job before?
Correct.
You know what I mean? Send emails that are complete sentences and write okay instead of just a K. There's things.
Just send emails. Just send an email.
Just please don't just send me an audio message on WhatsApp.
Yeah.
Those are the worst, dude. Those are the worst. Cool. So let's talk about the market a little bit. So what kinds of deals are you seeing being prioritized right now? I mean, there's sort of podcasts are all the rage. I feel like the, traditional entertainment world is now looking at creators. I think the fact that Netflix has podcasts on now is pretty incredible and a great step in the right direction. What sort of trends are you seeing for creators out there in the market today?
I think they're all over the place. I think the deals, as the market and this business continues to mature, are getting more complicated. And I think the back ends of all of these, even down to just brand deals that are including affiliate income, I think it's starting to become very robust, and there's multi-levers, and you're seeing pre-negotiated usage now and all these different things. But I also think specifically from a content perspective, you're seeing a lot of deals that are going to diversify where catalog can live. So you're seeing people who have their, their long form from YouTube or from an old channel or something that went off, and then it's going to a Roku or a Samsung or a Tubi. And you're also seeing these sort of live events move to these sort of platforms as well, these live in the sense of it's actually live, or one-off live type things. So I think it just continues to diversify. I think every single individual deal is just having new layers, and then all of the content can have multiple different places to live. And I think for us as reps, as I'll speak for myself as someone who's like constantly very like curious and inquisitive. Like that scratches my brain in a really interesting, fun way that I personally love, because I love getting into the nitty gritty of things and seeing from a talent, like knowing what they care about, which levers we can pull and where to make it more attractive. So, yeah, I mean, I know that's not like the world's greatest answer, but we're still kind of living in the Wild West.
Yeah, no, not at all. I mean, I totally see your points. Rana, what do you think?
It is, I mean, I felt like it used to be so much more predictable, and it changes every minute of every day. So it's so hard to say. I felt like, you know, a few years ago, we were seeing tons of these, like, I'm just going to put a number on it because it's easier to explain that way, and other reps will understand what I'm saying, I think. But we used to see a lot of talent getting these like 20, 30, 40 grand deals. But I think that brands are shying away from that more because they're not getting the ROI that they used to get because it's such a saturated market. So what I'm seeing is a lot of longer term deals, brands willing to invest in talent, especially the ones that like organically have an affinity for the brand. And I find that we're in a much better phase of just like specifically speaking to brand partnerships than we have been in the past. I mean, we have creators that are in Super Bowl commercials now, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
And so, like that's been really fun to watch that trend and honestly like make predictions about what deals are going to look like even next week, because we're probably going to see a new version of whatever that might be by then. And so I think that the challenge is like trying to think creatively, think ahead of it, and be able to be the first one to get to market with something. Is what's exciting about the deals that we're seeing for clients.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when people ask me this question, I say the only thing predictable is the unpredictability, because we don't know. And things are changing so quickly and happening so fast. And that's part of what makes working in this industry so exciting and also so difficult, right? Because you just have to roll with it and just be like, ready to pivot and ready to like understand and like try to figure out these new structures and things taking place. I mean, speaking to brand deals, I remember when back in the day when brands were like throwing money at influencers. I mean, there was that period of time where it was just like the golden age. And then it's like they came to their senses and were like, wait a second, there's no ROI, or there's limited ROI. Like, where is it? And then like the deals went way down and then they're up a little bit again. Like it's such a roller coaster, that whole area of the industry, like the brand deal industry. And do you think brands are getting, like, obviously brands are getting smarter, but it also seems like from what you guys are saying, they're really looking for more like long-term relationships where they can sort of create multiple pieces of content? Because I'm definitely seeing that with my clients.
Yeah, I think that what really changed the game is the structure of these deals being, in this, let's just say, for example, in the 7-figure year-long deal, you're going to do like 3 event appearances. You're going to speak at this corporate thing. You're going to, you're going to do this many posts on Instagram, and you're going to do and the like multi-level deal, I think is what is like sort of the golden ticket for clients now to be able to get something like that, because of the constant churn and burn of deals. What really I feel like sets clients apart and makes them seem much more elevated is when they're doing less deals, but they're longer term and they're larger financial deals. I feel like you've like made it once you hit that, and you sort of become like a brand ambassador. And so I think that, whatever next iteration of that might look like. I mean, I think the Super Bowl commercial is sort of like the golden ticket, and then yeah, I mean, even like sitting on a board for a brand. I think that those are the kinds of things that we're probably going to be seeing soon. Yeah, we'll see who gets to it first.
I think the other thing too that becomes really fascinating is seeing how just like in each deal. Like one piece of content can theoretically, and I've seen it too, like now that, you know, for example, like we use YouTube TV. So like every time my husband's like watching sports, the commercials come on, or if I'm like walking in that tunnel in New York City from Port Authority from you know 8th Ave to 7th or whatever. The thing that I notice, and I mean, obviously this is what I do every day for a living, so my eyes are super open to it. But I'll see something on social, like on my For You page, and it'll be a brand deal, like paid ad brand, like straight up brand deal. But then that brand deal is then being inserted into the ads that you will see on a sports moment, inserted into out of home that I see in that tunnel, the digital out of home. And so I think that's also what becomes really fascinating, doing these deals from like an agent POV with the talent of like, okay, so really we're looking at, you know, and this comes back to my earlier point of like, what is the profit margin for the talent on the deal? Where the profit margin is really like, what's the time expense on it, right? So the talent is really only making this one, maybe 2 or 3 pieces of content, right? One, maybe 2 or 3 of them are all living on that social over the course of the flight or the term. But then you're making a substantial amount of additional money because that's going into commercial use. It's going into digital out of home use. Most likely, these are also brands that are going to want to utilize the still of that for maybe a point of sale, right? So the profit margin on a deal like that is pretty substantial for the talent when you're just only really doing a couple pieces of content, and then it's up to the brand to do all these different things, and they have to pay the talent for the usage of all of it. So, you know, I think that's also where it just becomes like really fascinating, and there's just more and more ways that creator content is being rolled up and utilized in all these different areas. And honestly, to Rana's point, like there's going to be some new way to use it in 3, 6 months or a year, and then we're all gonna have to figure out, oh, well, how are we pricing this new thing? Like, who knows?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, all those uses that you mentioned, like out of home and, you know, paid media and all of that, I mean, brands all pay like additional fees for that. And, you know, so yeah, it's like one shoot day for a creator and then, you know, all these different uses that bring in so much more revenue, which is really great for them for sure.
But I also think we can look at like the pandemic did that. Like the pandemic did that for our business, right? Because everyone realized like, oh, you can save money on this shoot if you take it this way, you know, like it's that will forever have changed not only like the deals that we're doing, the talent that are growing, how people are consuming everything. Like it really forever changed this business that we've all been a part of since, you know, the early YouTube days.
Yeah, I mean, I think it turbocharged it for sure.
Yeah.
I think we would have gotten here, but it might have taken longer. But I think absolutely, like the pandemic just like turbocharged this business big time. So long form or short form? Because short form was all the rage. And now I feel like it's shifting back to longer form for creators, for brands, for everybody. YouTube seems to be wanting to turn into its own studio, really encouraging a lot of the bigger creators who create like this incredible production quality content. What are you guys seeing in terms of that trend, like short form, long form, both?
It's contracting again back to long form. Just
yeah,
that's
I
what
agree.
The market is telling us. But I think that it, like because there's a clear division with generations with the way that they consume content. Like we can say that millennials are really the ones that are consuming longer form stuff and have a attention span that can work for that kind of content. Whereas, you know, anyone sort of after that is really focusing on short form. I actually have found that my clients that are part of Gen X or whatever have having a tough time recreating their content so it does better suit longer form. But I would say, and I think that it will always stay this way, because I just think as humans, innately longer form is like what I think will be here to stay indefinitely. It'll just go on different versions. But short form, I think that we saw in the last year, people kind of like got sick of it or getting sick of it. Like it's just too much. So I think long form.
I find a lot of offense to this question because don't make me like literally don't make me pick. I think
you have to pick your favorite child, Tori. Come on, long form or short form.
I think it all depends on the content and the medium and the vertical. Like I love a quippy short form like comedy thing, right? But then like
right.
I am obsessed with Andrew Callahan and what he does on Channel 5, and I will watch every single long form video because I think it's so insightful. And so I think it just depends. And I think that's why it's so important for creators to have a platform agnostic strategy. And you need to like bend your mind into like, how can I take my long form and utilize that for short form? And I think the podcast like clipping strategy of 2024 to 2025 really showcases like you kind of can have your cake and eat it too with the right strategy. But I would agree that I do think as a world, we're seeing the kind of the pendulum swing back to long form. But on that, I would also include like written long form. I would include that this is why Book Talk is crushing. This is why people are loving like Substack. This is why even like you see these like intellectual influencers that I personally love who are doing these deep dives and multi-parts on TikTok, who maybe probably should be doing them more longer form on YouTube, but there's a little bit of a barrier to entry there. So I think it just depends, but I would definitely agree with like there is the pendulum is doing this into like the longer form. And I think a lot of people are doing it out of like retraining themselves a little bit, which I get.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And I think as like that traditional media world sort of enters, or the traditional entertainment world sort of is taking notice, it's almost like they're demanding too longer form. Like, you know, if they're going to license content and stuff, they want it to be a little bit longer. And I think that's also influencing it as they're turning their attention to, you know, the digital media space. So I have two more questions. We're going to do a fun lightning round after that because I could talk to you guys for hours, but sadly you do not have hours to give me because you have clients to manage. So this is the personal part of the podcast, and then we'll do the lightning round. So what part of your job is the most emotionally demanding that nobody talks about? And I'll let you guys choose who goes first because that's a tough one.
Which part of our jobs is the most emotionally demanding?
This is a hard one.
Yeah. It's funny because this is the reason I don't do what you guys do.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot of like hand holding and day to day. And it's just something my personality is not suited for, but I'm curious, like, cause there is a lot of that. It's a lot of like part therapist, part, you know, strategist.
I mean, what I will say, which is the honest truth, and but I'm a Cancer, so it kind of works for me. And
I'm a Pisces, fellow water sign girl, water sign.
Every part, right? Because this is someone's livelihood. Because this is there's emotion attached to someone being able to have a roof over their head and to be able to eat and to be able to help their family. And so that's subconsciously always on my mind, no matter what I'm doing. So honestly, like without it sounding bad, because this is the job, every part.
I would say the it's hard to pick like one thing, right? Because you're in, I mean, I'll speak for myself on this. Like when I sign a client, I'm like so deeply committed to it. I want to see everything through. I want to be there.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the single hardest part of it, and I think a lot of us would agree that this is also kind of something that's just like pervasive in culture right now, even outside of this job, is it is such a roller coaster of like the highs are such the most otherworldly, incredible feelings of being able to walk this journey with your clients. But the lows, even on the personal side that some of our clients deal with that their fan base may never know, is also just as challenging. And we're really in that with them, like from, you know, family losses to just like anything you could think of. Like I've had clients who I've had to have really hard conversations and like put them in rehab, right? Like it's really, really, really hard. And because I am such a committer, that takes a toll on me, but it's also my job to then go do what I need to do for my own mental health so that I can be better for them. But my superpower ever since I kind of like started in this industry back when I was on tour was always to like, for some reason I can like always just kind of be like a calm. And I remember my old boss at CAA, Peter Jacobs, would always be like, would call my boss and be like, how is she not like fuming over this? And he's like, oh no, she is. She's just not doing it.
She's fuming on the inside.
Yeah. He's like, oh no, once she hung up, she's like cursing like a storm. Like, this is a horrible situation or whatever. Right. But I always want to make people feel like things are always going to be okay. And that's a superpower that's really hard to manage, but one that I'm very grateful for, because I want to make people feel like okay and comforted. And maybe it's the maybe it's the hopes of a matriarchy in my own mind, but I think we could all use a little nurturing. And I think sometimes the talent really appreciate that when we're in it. We're in it with you guys. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, dude, listen, I can admit this is why I don't do what you guys do, because I love my clients, but I don't have that kind of personal day-to-day relationship with them that you guys do. Like, you are in the trenches, you know, everything that's happening in their lives outside of even the content creation. So good for you guys, because it takes a certain type of personality for sure. And that leads me to the last question before the lightning round, which is kind of a funny one, considering we've been talking about your guys' careers and what you do this whole time. So, Rana, if you were not a creator manager, what would you be? Come on, just say lawyer, make your mom happy. I know. You could be you could be a good lawyer for sure. I think I could see that.
Oh, for sure.
Oh yeah.
I think that I would love to do something creative. I don't know. This is just something because it's something personally that I'm going through right now. I just bought a new house, like we were talking about, and I like maybe potentially be an interior designer. I'm enjoying. It's very Cancerian of me to like want to like build my nest.
Yes.
And so
nice.
I feel very like comfortable in that zone, and like making a house a home. So
yeah, that's awesome. I know, Ron, I know you have those Pinterest boards going. I know you've got like multiple.
Absolutely.
Of course. What about you, Tori?
Funny enough, I really always wanted to be a Barbara Walters. Like, I really wanted to do like the
nice
journalism thing. I try really hard to connect to humans, and I think that's why I like this job. But yeah, I don't know. Catch me on The View one day. Who knows? I think that's what I would want to do if I was doing this.
That's awesome. All right, lightning round. This is a fun one. I'm going to have Tori answer first, and then Rana, and then we'll switch around. Tori, coffee, matcha, or energy drink?
Ooh, depends on the day. Matcha for a ritualistic like moment to center myself and like really enjoy it. Coffee on a plane. I never really
yeah, matcha, no question. Haven't had coffee in like 8 or 9 years.
Wow, are you serious? You got like 2 small kids? How do you manage that?
Rana was my OG matcha girl. I remember she introduced it to me, and then one year for her birthday, I went to the matcha place across the street from the office, and they didn't make gift cards, and so I had to like email the owner of the place. It was like, can you make a fake gift card for Rana?
She did.
That's amazing. Ron, I can't believe that you've turned so West Coast, girl. You've gone completely LA.
She was on matcha game before.
Whatever.
She was on.
All right.
Rana, take it. You owned matcha early on, girlfriend.
All right.
Good.
Five more quick ones. Rana, how many tabs open on your computer right now?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24.
Wow, that's incredible.
But half of them are work and half of them are personal.
Half of them are like your interior design ideas.
This, like, honestly, like 6 of them are just like things that I have up all the time. It's like client calendars, it's like client meeting notes, and it's grids. So there are things that I'm probably not even looking at every single day, but that I just keep up. And then like the rest of them are sort of like a revolving door.
Right. Tori, how about you?
I had to count. I have 18.
18. Wow. I can't have more than like 6 or 7 without feeling really stressed out. So good for you guys. It just
Victoria and I aren't stressed out, Anita.
I know. Tori, by the way, you have to tell us your sign now since we've been talking about.
Oh, I am deeply in Aquarius.
Oh, nice.
I don't know
Deeply
if
in Aquarius. Love it. All right. On a Zoom, camera on or off?
Is it you, Victoria?
I don't think any of us should see ourselves as much as we do anymore. So I'm trying to get better at doing, like, deciding which one's camera on, which one's camera off. Honestly, I've been bringing back the phone call.
Oh, nice.
Same, by the way. But I'm always camera on just out of like courtesy. But I'm really pushing hard on the call. I'm like, what is this? Could be an email or it could just be a call.
Yeah, no, I hear you. And that was actually going to be my next question, which I don't even need to ask you because I was going to say phone, emails, or DMs. But I agree, like the call is just so much more faster and efficient. By the way, and on Zooms, like I feel guilty when my camera's not on, but what I'm doing is I'm not turning it on right away because I don't like it when I turn it on and no one else has it on. And I'm like, I didn't have to do that. So yeah, I test the waters.
There's also
camera on
sometimes
and
I'll be
camera
like,
off.
hey, this is a Zoom call. For the fact that it's a conference call, you don't need to have your camera on.
Yeah.
Right. True. What's the first piece of advice that you give a creator? It doesn't have to be deep or insightful, but what do you meet a creator? What do you tell them?
My go-to is always set aside money for taxes.
Nice. So
Yeah.
true. That's so
Yeah.
true.
Like your AdSense, your Twitch streams, your creator funds. Like I know it seems like fun money. It ain't. It ain't.
Right. That's a good point.
Your loyalty is a big, like, it tells people a lot about the kind of person that you are. And people will always see it and remember it. So obviously, like being loyal to a fault is not great, but like it's important to be loyal, and not bite the hand that fed you.
Yeah, that's a good one. And you guys both failed that test because the first piece of advice was supposed to be to call me. Call an attorney, call me.
Oh my God.
Guys, come on.
Is this podcast canceled? No.
Exactly. All right, last one. East Coast or West Coast? Rana.
East. Come on, dog.
Of course.
Yeah.
I know. Thank God. Thank God you answered that right. For all of you guys that don't know, Rana was out in New York for a long time. Tori and I are in New York. Tori is actually in New Jersey now.
Come on.
Yes. Good answer. Thanks so much, guys. We went a little bit over, and thank you for your time. And I knew this was going to be a good one. I mean, there's so much stuff we could talk about, and hopefully you guys will come back. But I very, very much appreciate it. And it was so much good information you guys gave out and advice. And yeah, I'm looking forward to many more years of working together.
Also, one last final shout out for all of us on this call. Not only are we OGs, we're all first gen to this here United States. So
That's right.
rock on.
I'm like second gen since I was like, it's Canada and then the United States.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we gotta
Yeah, no, that's true.
We gotta be really proud of those roots because it's hard out there.
Well, we're
For
the only
sure.
ones that are going to save this country. So we won't get too much into the politics, but yeah, we got our work to do. We got some work to do. Yes. All right, guys. Thank you so much. And yeah, I'm sure we'll talk soon. Thanks, guys. Signed, Conversations with Digital Mavericks. This episode was produced by myself and Phoebe Dunn, edited by Carmine Mattia, social media strategy, Maureen Lauren Sedlak, and signed theme music by Carmine Mattia.